Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. This time we are bringing you the latest civil rights drama, Burden, starring Garrett Hedlund, Forrest Whitaker, Andrea Riseborough. I hope I'm saying her name right. I think I am saying her name right. Let's give you a quick synopsis of this movie that technically was filmed in 2018, and it is just seeing the light of day, March 6th. 2020. But let's give you the quick synopsis of it before we get into the movie. And it is, the story follows the life of Mike Burden, an orphan raised within the Ku Klux Klan who attempts to break away when the woman he falls in love with urges him to leave for a better life. The Klan seeks Mike out for vengeance, and a Black Baptist church congregation led by Reverend Kennedy agreed to protect Mike, his girlfriend, and her son. Wow. Now, first let me say, this is a true story. Point blank. If you didn't know that, please look it up. The story is way more interesting than this movie is, which feels like it was cut unbelievably bad. But that could have been because of the years it took for it to reach the big screen. So again, please check out the story of Mike Burden and Reverend Kennedy. It's a very interesting story. You're going to love it. This movie, maybe not so much. Okay. Here's the thing, and I want to jump into it right away because I don't know ways to sugarcoat stuff when it comes to this movie. This movie feels like it should have been possibly a Netflix, Hulu type of release. It feels like something that should have never been released in theaters. I think it passed its point where this movie could have been received well. When you have movies in this vein, and when I mean in this vein, in that civil rights of making people better type of vein of a Just Mercy and things of that nature, where we've seen those movies done well recently, and you see Burden, which is a good movie, but doesn't feel like a movie that should be released in the theaters. So, again, I don't think this should have been released in theaters at all. But from a performance standpoint, Garrett Hedlund is really good in this movie. Playing Mike Burden, he's really good. He has certain quirks in this movie that at time, handled by a better director, maybe it would have been explained a little bit earlier for you not to feel isolated while you watch the movie. Like, you're just wondering, like, what the heck is he doing? His movements, his swagger in this movie with the character. Once you read up more on the actual man, you realize a lot of those movements were picked up because that's the way that man moves. That's the way this man talks in real life. So he did a great job of getting into character. Same thing as Forrest Whitaker as Reverend Kennedy. Great job of getting into character in this movie. Again, the problem isn't the performances. Even Andrea Riseborough. Again, I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. I think I am, though. She is pretty good in this movie. The problem is their love story isn't as believable. And their love story, meaning her love story and Garrett Hedlund's love story, isn't as believable as it could have been. And I don't blame the actors one bit so. I think this lays in the hand of the writers and the directors of this project. I don't know what they were necessarily going for. At times it felt like they were trying to pull back. At other times it felt like they were just like, okay, we're going to let it go and see what happens. Then we have a great performance by Tom Wilkinson in this movie. Listen, it is a gift for an actor to portray a role so well that it makes you hate them. And you hate him in this movie from his performance, and he pulls it off seamlessly. It's just a great performance. Again, as you hear me talking, you hear me constantly say the actors are good in this movie. It is the editing, it is the cinematography, it is the direction. All of that I'm questioning in this movie. And I don't know, again, because this movie sat so long, was that the issue with this movie? And did they piece it together at the end to try to get it out? Because, again, somebody had to buy distribution rights to this film, and they said, you know what, let's put this out. Again, you have Oscar winners, you have Oscar caliber people in this film. Let's put it out and see what happens. Unfortunately, what you get is a jumbled mess of a movie. At times, it just feels incomplete. It's one particular scene. Again, this is without me diving too deep into the movie and giving you way too much of the plot, even though the plot is very simple, and we'll talk about that. But it's this one scene where they just have Garrett Hedlund's character walking. And I'm assuming that they thought this was a powerful moment and they could use this to, like, focus on the cinematography and make you feel what this character's feeling as he's walking. Instead, it comes across as a joke. Kind of childish. And you're just like, okay, I'm not interested in all of that. Same thing with the story. The story, again, on its merits, the story is very interesting, as you have Tom Wilkinson character opens up a Ku Klux Klan museum in the middle of a black town. And the reverend, played by Forrest Whitaker, decides to boycott this place every day. Non-violence. He's not preaching violence. He's just going to boycott it every day. We also get, again, Garrett Hedlund's character, who was raised by Tom Wilkinson's character, and he knows nothing but the Klan up until he meets this wonderful woman in his life who decides that she doesn't want him around the Klan because her son has a black best friend. Two little boys. Some of the sweetest moments in this film are with those two little boys in it. And with Usher Raymond, who plays the black little boy's father in it. He's not even bad in this movie. I am flabbergasted how the directors can get so many good performances out of so many people and yet still have this movie feel like it doesn't belong. It puzzles me. But again, the story is interesting enough for you to stay engaged until the end of the film. Granted, you see what's going to happen miles away, but what makes it better is that this is a true story, so this is exactly what happens in real life, and you like it. Even the redemption parts of it, granted that character in real life, he does get redemption, it just feels cheesy in this movie. It could have been a way to do it, and they didn't pull that off well, but again, the story will keep you engaged. This is not, again, something that you should see in theaters, including the person who I took to the screening with me who loves these type of films. And right after the film, she said, I feel like this should have been on Netflix or something. Like, she said, I enjoyed it, but it just didn't feel like this is something I need to see in a movie theater. That's how I felt about this film. So, for Burden, again, 2020 release for a film shot in 2018, I'm going to give Burden out of 10, 4.5 out of 10. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. I just think the performances are strong, but nothing else around the performances are strong, and it makes the movie suffer when the movie doesn't have to suffer. So, I can't think of nothing else to say because I'm not going to trash it. Again, the performances are good. I can't trash it, but maybe this is a warning sign to other filmmakers. When you take these amazing true stories, while your job is to stay true to the story, please take liberties if necessary to make it a better movie. Because it felt like they didn't really take liberties at all with this film. And while the story's interesting, maybe you need to take a little bit more liberties to make it a better movie. So that's all I can say. This has been another JPS movie review. Burden comes out March 6, 2020. Please check it out when it drops if you're into these type of movies. Peace, people.